Alan Sugar exposes Jeremy Corbyn's idiotic politics, Remainers' lies about the US trade deal are debunked, and we travel to Essex to speak to Brexit Party and Conservative candidates. Now, as you can see, we're doing today's video in a car because we're travelling to Essex to speak to the candidates that are standing in the election, Brexit Party candidates and the Tories. Obviously, as usual, Remainers are refusing to be interviewed, so we'll see how that goes. And so keep watching to the end of the video because we're going to have some good segments coming up. Now, today, we're talking about the Labour Party again because they are going through a crisis in this election. They're losing more candidates every day and more former Labour MPs are still coming out to back Boris Johnson. Now, Alan Sugar, who used to be a Labour person, he donated to the Labour Party, he's a Lord, and it's funny because when people like Jeremy Corbyn decide to push people like Alan Sugar out of the party, the traditional working class, aspirational working class, successful people, well, things change. The whole party has changed. They no longer represent the working class. They are basically a bunch of metropolitan liberal elite who are anti-democracy and anti-liberalism and anti-Britain, to be frank. So Alan Sugar has come out against Corbyn. Now, we remember back in June when Alan Sugar said that he would leave the UK if Jeremy Corbyn becomes Prime Minister. Now he started a new line of attack against Jeremy Corbyn. Alan Sugar delivers brutal swipe at horrible Corbyn as he backs Boris for Prime Minister. Lord Sugar has claimed that Boris Johnson becoming Prime Minister would be good news as the public would vote for him over the horrible Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn. Now, Alan Sugar has gone on Twitter after Jeremy Corbyn said that he's going to go after the wealthy and the millionaires and billionaires. And he said this. Sugar tweeted, Mr. Corbyn lives in an expensive house in Islington. I guess if you tot up all his assets, he's worth more than £1 million. He is a hypocrite and is peddling a Robin Hood story and fooling people like you. There was poverty under Labour back in the days I was referring to. Now, that's a good point because a lot of people keep saying there are problems right now in the country with homelessness and poverty, and it's all because of the Tories, as if we didn't have homelessness or poverty or any issues when we had Labour governments. It's just a problem in the country and in the whole world. You can't completely eliminate these issues. Obviously, it doesn't work. Communists tried to do that. It just backfired. The issue is that even under the Labour government, we've had these problems, and now they're claiming that it's only started since the Conservatives got into power. Sugar also tweeted that the millionaire Jeremy Corbyn target voter is the young, educated, whose biggest concern in life is if they should upgrade to an iPhone 11. My father worried if he had enough shillings left on a Thursday night to keep the electric meter going. Don't be duped by Corbyn's promises. Well, he's absolutely right. And the polls are actually showing this. When you look at the YouGov polls, it's showing that since October, the 25th of October, when 35% of young people were backing Corbyn, it's actually going up. It's now 54% of young people who are backing socialism under Labour. It's because they don't know. They haven't experienced it. They haven't lived under a socialist regime as I have. Obviously, as most of you know, I'm Persian. My background, I was born in Iran. My family had to flee because of the socialist government in that country. And it's not good. Trust me, guys. It's not good. Don't do it. But in other news, Remainers are at it again. The SNP and the Labour Party are going around saying that the US trade deal would result in the increase of drug prices and drug costs. And again, that's completely silly. On the BBC Politics Live, Nick Robinson completely destroyed the SNP's argument on this.
We heard your leader and the First Minister of Scotland say a little bit earlier on that she wanted to stop the trade deal that would be done in the future with the United States, leading to the privatisation of the NHS. Can you just clarify to me, why would any government voluntarily agree to increase the price of drugs in this country, given that it would be a huge waste of money and deeply unpopular? Why would any Tory government agree to that, let alone any other government?
Well, of course, that's an absolutely key question, but the fact remains is that Donald Trump keeps telling people it's America first. All the evidence is there, Nick.
But that's the evidence of what Donald Trump wants, not of what any government would do. Well, it's not very complicated, Mr. Blackford. What you do is you say, if you're in government, I know you'd like that. Here's the answer. No.
Well, but the fact is, we've got an opportunity in Parliament if we back the SNP's bill to
But
them
is
to
that
do that
really
as well.
legislation that's needed, or is it legislation as a press release? It's a way of saying, look at us, we really are very passionate about the NHS. What actual difference would it make?
It makes a huge difference, Nick, because there is a threat to the NHS, which is so critical to all of us. Something
just
that we've
remind
all
us, who's
relied on
responsible
over
for the
the course of
NHS
the
in
last 70
Scotland?
years.
Who's responsible for the NHS in Scotland?
Well, we are.
You are.
We are
You're the
responsible
ministers.
for the NHS in Scotland, and thank goodness.
Well, you've missed your waiting time
target.
targets, haven't you, Mr. Black? For 2 out of 8 are the only ones that have been met. Is it possible that you quite like to talk about the Tories in the NHS because you'd rather not talk about the SNP's record actually running the health service?
I will happily talk about the SNP's record.
Well, am I right that you have only met 2 out of your 8 waiting time targets?
Well, look, at the end of the day, there are areas where we need to make sure that we deliver across all fronts.
Is that a
but
fact?
when you look, but if you, but
independent report just a few days ago suggesting that the numbers simply don't add up. You've got a £1 billion maintenance backlog. The capital budget in NHS Scotland has fallen by more than 60% over the last decade. It seems to me if you were that proud of your record on the NHS, you'd probably talk about it a bit more and not always talk about the Tories who don't actually run the NHS in Scotland.
Well, he's absolutely right. So I don't understand why some people actually believe these arguments. It makes absolutely no sense. Why would any government voluntarily increase prices? There's no need to do that. Now, as we said, earlier today we travelled to Essex. We went to Dagenham and Rainham, Illford South to speak to Brexit Party and Conservative candidates. So let's watch this. So we're out here in Dagenham and Rainham with the Conservative candidate Damien White. So thanks for having us here. Tell us how everything's going in this area. What's the situation?
So I'm the candidate for Dagenham and Rainham. It is a Labour-held seat with, I think, 4,600 Labour majority. I think it's going quite well. I think we have every opportunity to hold on to or to gain this seat. It's not one of the official Conservative Party targets, but I'm one of the very few, if not only seats in the country where I'm allowed not to go and help in other target seats because the party thinks that there is a good chance or a reasonable chance we should hold or we should gain this area. So I've been out, I'm running what we like to refer to as a Romford-style campaign in Dagenham and Rainham. So we're doing leaflets and campaigning, newsletters.
Yep.
I'm very fortunate to have the support and backing of the Romford Conservative Association.
Right.
Our wonderful MP, Andrew Rosnow, who's rowing behind me, which is good.
That's pretty good. This seat got very close in 2017 and the Conservatives almost got it, but then UKIP split the votes at the end.
So it is in 2010 was the first year of the boundary changes, and we came 2,000 votes, 2,500 votes behind. 2015, UKIP nearly took the seat. It was a massive vote leave seat. 2017, we then became second place, but with 4,600 votes behind. It is the Dagenham and Rainham, if you believe the newspapers and the party strategy, Dagenham and Rainham is the seat.
Yeah.
It is the typical seat that we need to win. Because it has the highest vote leave share in London, 71%. It's a traditional working class Labour seat. It's basically the type of seat they're targeting in the Midlands.
Right.
So it really is the type of place that we should do very well. And Boris goes down incredibly well in this type of area. So it's certainly one that we should focus on all of our efforts on.
Yeah, and the Brexit Party are standing.
So the Brexit Party are. They've just they hadn't had a candidate. They recently allocated one from Hastings. I think that over the last 3 years, there's a great appreciation amongst the public about the dangers of a hung parliament and for the dangers of splitting the anti-Labour vote or the pro-Brexit vote by voting for the Brexit Party or UKIP.
Yep.
And I've had so many people that have come up to me. I'm out every day knocking on doors. So many people say I voted Labour for 40 years.
Right.
I'm a Labour Party member. Someone showed me the card. I'm a Labour Party member. I'm not voting for Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
A, he's a disaster who bankrupt the country. But B, I want to deal with Brexit. And I want Britain to leave.
Yeah.
And quite a few Brexit Party members. Funny enough, one of our volunteers over there is a former Brexit Party member who's now come to help. Because they are so determined that we should not split the the pro-Brexit vote and let Labour Party in.
Yeah, I understand. Do you guys also have kind of soft Remainers? So people who voted Remain, but now they just want to get Brexit done from the Labour Party or Tories or whatever?
You do. There's as I say, this area votes 71% to leave.
It's very
so
legal.
there are. I've not had hardly, if not one person say to me, "I voted Remain." Everyone I talk to, the only thing they want to discuss is, first of all, is Brexit, and they want Britain to leave, and second of all is then police and crime, and that's the real two big issues here.
Right, I understand. It's going to be a kind of interesting race. It's going to be very close, and so we're going to actually go out there now and speak to the voters to see what they think and how they're feeling about this election. So keep watching. We are out here with the Brexit Party candidate for Ilford South, Munish Sharma. So how's everything looking for the Brexit Party?
That's very exciting actually. So we've got some challenges which we're really kind of working hard to overcome. The mainstream media obviously focused right now on the Tories. And on the ground though, we're doing a lot of work speaking to constituents. Actually this morning I've been speaking to a few people in my constituency and they're telling me there's such strong support for the Brexit Party. They're basically sick and tired of, basically existing politicians. They're frustrated that Brexit has not been delivered. For them, they can't see an excuse for why we are here right now and why we spent 3.5 years essentially having achieved nothing in one single parliament sitting. So there's just frustration all around, and actually it is, like, for the first time, excitement for a new party, and that's where we come in.
What's the situation in Ilford South? Is it like a Labour seat, marginal?
It's a very safe Labour seat historically.
So Tories don't do well there.
They haven't done well for the last 20 plus years, and we've got an MP called Mike Gapes. He's a beer right.
The Change UK guy.
He's now the Change UK exactly as of this year. So now we've got a new candidate called Sam Tarry who's running for the Labour Party. Very much a momentum Corbynite sort of end of the political spectrum. So he'll be very much up against Mike Gapes, the Remain side of the Labour vote. So that should be an interesting contest. It kind of changes things up a bit. And I'll come in from a Brexit Party perspective. Again, our focus is looking at with my background, kind of Labour social issues, but also looking at kind of what we need for more investment, increasing GDP, etc.
And obviously, as you know, nationally the parties, Tories and Brexit Party, are not going to do any pact. So, are you guys having chats locally, the two parties, and?
No, I mean I've certainly had a chat with my local Conservative candidate, and we both kind of had we both agreed that the priority has to be to leave the European Union, of course, and so we're on the same page around that. Now, across East London generally, something may be arranged, I don't know. Hopefully kind of the Conservative Party be a bit sensible and approach us. We've reached out nationally and locally. So the ball's in their court. If they want to do a Brexit, they've got to work with us to do it. And they've got to appreciate in certain constituencies, they have no chance. What we're going to do is split the vote away from the Brexit Party. So it's really important that all heads calm down and think logically.
So I heard that you quit your job to do this campaign. So what's going to happen if you lose, and what are you going to do?
Well, no, it's a risky strategy. I work in the investment banking industry. I'm a compliance officer, and
you got some savings left this point.
Actually, no. I'm also doing an MBA part time, so I've literally spent all of that. But look, I genuinely believe we can do this in Ilford South. We need to move into a new direction, both locally and nationally. It's a risk I've taken because I believe in Brexit so much. Partly because I used to be involved with European Union negotiations, so I made European law.
Sorry about that.
No, exactly. Well, it's an eye opener. So look, it's a risk. I've taken it, and if I'm here to win, and that's it. So.
We'll see how it goes. We've got a few weeks now, and do you have a big team helping you?
We've got a strong, passionate team. It's certainly not as big as the Labour Party. I think they've got an army of 100, 200 people. So. Yeah, exactly, and they've got the history behind them. So, but what I want to do is actually come in there, challenge their perspective, really, ask them and probe them. Are you really representing a pro-EU kind of program for the working classes? I don't believe the two are consistent.
No.
So for me, the Brexit Party, I believe, and my supporters are telling me, you guys are really the only people supporting the ordinary man on the street. That's now been lost with the main political parties.
That's true. Well, we'll see how it goes in the next few weeks, and we could catch up after the election.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Now, in tomorrow's video, we're going to release the trip that we did to Romford. We spoke to Andrew Rosendale, the Conservative MP. Well, he's now the Conservative candidate, and we also spoke to some of the YouTube supporters and actually voters out there to kind of see what they think. So, if you want to find out, because I'm going to be going around the country most of this election, if you want to find out where I'm going to be, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll post my updates there. I'll let you know exactly where I'm going to be and when. And also make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click on the bell next to it so you get notified when I release a new video. And as always, make sure that you check out our merchandise. As you know, we've released the new t-shirts. We have the Brexit Christmas t-shirts. The All I Want for Christmas is Brexit. This comes in the form of obviously t-shirts, but also coffee mugs and bags and everything else. So check out the link in the description. There are also the designs. And as always, I'm Tousi, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new video.